All right. All
Oh, that's
right.
really good.
All right, we're back. I've just started the recording again. So yeah, we're
Okay,
back.
excellent. We
Wait.
had technical difficulties, and now we're back. Okay, so I'm sort of halfway through your piece. I think the stats for your piece are, let's see. I don't even know where the stats are because I also don't. Oh, word count. I see. So it's 4 pages, 778 words. All right, that's not very long. Uh, uh,
Man, I should pare it down,
I
man.
think I think the pages you were worried. No, you were worried about the pages because of the screenshots. This is more screenshots than I think the your normal blog posts.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has everything you expect from a role-playing game, more of a sophisticated monetary system that allow you to exchange fiat. Hmm. At least in Asia, the game was huge. Yes, it was. It was the Fortnite of my childhood. Yes, it was. Well, that and Ragnarok.
Oh yeah,
I was very addicted. Yeah. Chester Howe. Quitting Maple was the hardest thing I had to do in my life.
dude, it's like
And
a
I stumbled
drug,
upon this
man.
YouTube video on YouTube. Brainwave, I could learn to host my own private server, get all my friends in school on it, and become the most popular kid. As a nerd, this was huge. I was drawn because I found a way to get real life social leverage while possessing in game ones. And read plugins and oh, holy shit, you were 12. Holy shit. That's wow. I
The-
even asked someone to help me ask my crush for her number in exchange for 150 million in game money. Hmm. Casanova start young. I followed tutorials from the Rachel and forums as a curiosity to set up my private server. Zamp. Okay, learn how to create my screens. Actually, this is going very well. Like, I this is a lot better than the previous post.
Really? Wow. You say that every week.
Um, yeah, yeah. Do I say that every week? Okay, then you're
Yeah.
improving every week. I just wanted to create a remix of my favorite virtual environment. Excellent programmer. Okay, see, I never really knew the real potential of my skill until much later. I continued messing around, creating prank scripts, made thousands of encapsulated folders on my friends' computers. Okay. So the YouTube channel, just had a lot of fun making videos, photos, and things. I'm just gonna add a space here because that irritates me. I never really built or shipped any real apps, but there was beauty in that play. Discussing and teaming. My sister's younger. I just want to make my sister, my friends happy. I'm glad to have done that, and I wonder what something like that would look like as an adult. I used to think growing up meant having more of my questions answered. I thought the reasons for my actions would become more evident. Unfortunately, I only have more questions. I don't like that ending, but everything up leading up to that was like a lot better than I think previous weeks. Okay, so
Mm.
let's get started. Here is the story of how I fell in love with computers. I did not know software engineering existed as a profession until I was 13. Up to then, all I wanted to be was a computer expert. I thought all computer work was you don't. I don't think you need to do this unless you want to do computer work, as in like this. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be putting tags around this.
Sure.
Just to get it straight, so there are two kinds of was it inverted commas. Either you have your speech be single inverted comma and save double inverted commas for things like computer work, or you do the reverse where you have single inverted commas for computer work and then like speech. Oh, sorry, single inverted for speech and then like double inverted for the other one. So you have to pick one and you have to stick with it. Mine is all of my speech is using double,
Got it.
and then like computer was single. Which one is yours? Because you see later you say to say I was here, and this is the same as this, right? And that's
Mm.
not. You just have to pick one. So which one
Right.
is yours? Which one's the American one? You should pick the American one.
Oh God, I don't know. Don't ask
Uh,
me. I'm happy to
okay,
take
okay.
whatever. Yeah.
I'm
Do,
just gonna go with this, but then later you check the American.
yeah.
Actually, mine might be inverted. Mine might be the American one, and then
Yeah.
I
I think
mess it up
yours is
because my
the.
spelling is
I
British.
think yours is the American one. Don't worry, man. I still get graded down
Oh
for
dear.
spelling my words with a Z. No S.
Okay. No,
Yep.
what? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm just gonna go with the. But you're doing the American one, so okay. In that case,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my scheme, which is the American one, which I mixed up years ago, and I can't be bothered to fix. But let's just do it now. Okay, so computer expert, I thought all, so this is minor stuff. So all computer work was fixing drivers and getting PowerPoint slides to show up. I thought all computer work was fixing drivers and getting PowerPoint. Like little did I was already a programmer. Myself. Okay, so I'm going to circle back to this. For those watching, TK is this thing that I picked up a long time ago. Basically, no word in the English language has TK in it. So you put TK, and then later you can quickly look for TK because most editing programs would sort of highlight it with a red squiggle, and it's easy to grab. Grab anyway. Easy to search. Blogandblog.com was what every preteen and teenager was rushing to possess. This is a bit awkward. So the reason I put a TK here, by the way, Jurvis, is because I don't think you actually. So this is, it's like sort of you're teasing, right? I was already a programmer.
Yeah.
I don't think you actually ever circle back to that, and I think you should circle back to that at least by the end of this section.
Right.
But okay, let's just circle back and see if you actually do close that loop. Blogandblog.com was what every preteen and teenager was rushing to possess in 2016. I don't like this. It's a bit awkward. Just gonna put a bit TK here again.
Okay.
It was a bragging right to have your fancy corner of the internet for gossip and angsty rounds. Yes, that is so true.
Yeah, dude,
I remember all the work.
I found so for the audience, I found my old blog when I created when I was 12. No, and if you're asking, no, I'm not about to share it. But essentially, I was horrified.
Yeah. I remember all the work that had to go into making curses covered in glitter. Okay, hidden YouTube iframes that automatically played Avril Lavigne in tag boxes, which were colorful checkbox where you say I was here. Okay, that's good. This is just minor. To possess. So I'm definitely gonna get rid of this. I don't like this at all.
Go for it.
Was what rushing? Was what every preteen and teenager was, because rushing to possess is awkward, right? You want to have what were you trying to express?
It's like everyone was trying. Okay, so there was it was something like I've never seen before. Like everyone rushed to get their own little blogspot.com. Like everyone wanted to had like the angsty title they wanted to use. They just wanted a corner of the internet. And it's great. It's like it's amazing. I sometimes think back to that. I wish I took more screenshots. So but you had like people with their friends in the sidebar, and then people would discover like your friends.
Oh yes. I had that too. Yes,
dude.
Okay. So it was like a land grab, right?
Yeah.
Blog.com was for every preteen and teenager yearned in 2006. No, wanted is not strong enough.
Yearned is fairly.
Was what every preteen and teenager
desired.
Yearn is also not really strong enough. I'm gonna do something stupid. Really wanted. No, this is dumb. It's a bragging right to have your fancy corner of the internet focus. But it's not just that, right? It's also like you wanted your specific name, your domain.
Yeah. And it's not just that. It's just like being able to like have the sexiest like blog. I remember it's like if you had the ones with like a tag box, like music playing when you went in there, it's like you were like the coolest person, right?
Yes. A blog.com was what every preteen teenager really wanted in 2005. It was a bragging right. So really wanted. I think really wanted is okay. It's not better, but okay, I'm just gonna leave it here for a while. It was a bragging right to have your fancy corner internet for gossip and XML. Why am I not perfectly happy with this sentence? I remember all the work that had to go into making curses covered in glitter. Glitter curses, making glitter curses covered. I think glitter's fine. Hidden YouTube iframes. This is good. This is okay. This sentence is okay. This sentence is a bit. Why am I not pleased with this? It was a bragging right to have your fancy corner internet for gossip. I'm just gonna try this out. Everyone wanted a fancy corner of the internet for gossip and angsty
Right.
runs. It was a bragging right if yours. No. I want to split it up into two sentences because I feel like it's bragging right if fancy words. I guess it could work. I don't know. Am I over?
I
I
think
guess
it's
okay.
fine.
Wait.
Yeah,
Let's
actually,
maybe.
I actually
Yeah. Maybe
like
you know what?
the
Let's just
I actually like
what? Let's just
like
leave it
putting
here.
the reason first, because I think what you've done is you've taken the reason for why it's a bragging right, put it on top,
Yeah.
and then have the conclusion
Yeah,
come
but it's. I
after.
think this is more like a. This is an aesthetic choice. This is not. This is not that bad. If I look at it, but we want it. What's a bragging right? Um. It was a bragging right. Oh, I know why. Is it? It was a. It was a bragging right. I think I know why. This is a passive sentence, and that's sort of like
Hmm.
that. I don't like. I naturally do not like passive sentences. So if I throw this back, everyone wanted a fancy corner of the internet, uh, for gossip and XD runs. Uh, and the good ones were became. Let me try. And the good ones were a bragging right. No, this doesn't sound right. But I'm just gonna try this. Everyone wanted fancy coordinator for gossip and NC runs. The good ones became a gambit. Um, it was your bragging right. No, that's not true as well. Everyone wanted a fancy coordinator for gossip and XD runs. Became a bragging right. The good ones became bragging rights.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not very happy with this. We
Yeah.
shall
We
go
should
back to
revisit.
this in a
Yeah.
bit.
Okay. All right.
I mean, because I think maybe your original sentence is perfectly fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this in the comments so I don't lose it. Um, okay, let's just move on for now. My programming journey started right when I was trying to help my sister add a tag box to a drop. You know what? I think you can drop the let's see, tag box. It was called a tag box, right?
It
Damn,
was called a
such a
tag
long time
box.
ago.
Yeah, I actually tried
Yeah.
googling for the term. It apparently the term has gone out of fashion. Like no one understand. Like you
Yeah.
search tag box and it's like, yeah, you get like anything but what it
From
was.
Richard templates.
But let me just explain what tag box was. So it's basically like an embedded like chat window
Yes, it
in a
was. It
blog.
was
It
for
was
visitors.
provided by a. It was developed by a company called Cbox, I think. Cbox.ws. God, it's so long
There were
ago.
a number of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything everything I learned in school. Okay, so this one you need to explain. So
Alexa,
they
stop the
read
timer.
like oh
Sorry. But
yeah. So the variable definitions. Yeah. So I need to explain this because what I'm getting from this is like, what is it that you learn in school that clicked?
yeah, like
Basically,
yeah,
suddenly. Yeah.
pretty much. Like I just wanted to say like like school didn't make sense on its own, but then I looked at like the template and I saw like
Mm,
variable definitions and I was like, hey, I
mm.
could actually use what I learned in school to try to figure this out. Like that was what I was trying to
No, no, no,
say.
but what do you learn in school? Do you learn programming in school, or was it
No,
just
no,
like the typical?
no, no. I didn't learn programming in school. I I learned algebra essentially, and then I saw like var x equals 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, that's okay. So I think you need to express that because I assume that you learn programming in school.
Oh no, I did
Um,
not. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. The sentence implies that maybe you went to one of those very cool schools. And I know nothing about like the high school in Singapore, right? So I saw the variable
Yo, this
definitions
was
and
primary school.
they looked. This was primary school. Holy
This is
shit!
primary
Okay,
school.
wow. But who knows, right? In
Right,
in
right.
in in Vietnam, they're forced to learn Pascal in primary school,
Oh,
and then like then
really?
forget once they go to secondary school. Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
Even like yeah, exactly. So who knows, right? A reader coming to your blog would know, like they would like, oh, Singaporean kids are very smart. I guess they will learn programming in school. So you need to be very clear.
Right, right, right.
I saw the variable definitions and they looked like algebra. Um, I thought, I think a clearer expression would be, I thought, I thought What was the exact phrase that you used? I liked what you just said to me. You said something like, "Hey, maybe I can use what I learned in school." Uh,
Oh God,
huh.
I never remember what
Okay,
I said.
never mind. It's okay.
Let's see
Never
if
mind. We'll probably look at the recording later and then go like, "Oh, that's actually what he said." But I'm
yeah
just gonna editorialize now. Hey, maybe, what I learned in school. I thought maybe I could use what I learned in school here. Here,
yeah
and I was on my way. Um, I I think this is better. It's clearer. I know
right.
it's not exactly what the way that you would say it, but okay, I'm just gonna
What I
use
learned in
this.
school here.
By the way, for those of you who are new to this, the base rules that I set with Jurvis was that I may override some of Jurvis's aesthetic decisions with mine, but the goal of this is not to learn my aesthetic decisions, but to learn like how I think about editing. So the back and forth of looking at a sentence, not being happy with the sentence, and then sort of trying to fix it, and then jumping back and forth and being unsure of myself. That's I think the valuable thing that I want you to see. Um, I iterated on the templates and versioned them in a folder on the desktop. On I iterated on templates and versioned them in a folder on my desktop. On the desktop, I guess this is okay. Everybody knows what a desktop. I don't know if Gen Z knows what a desktop is, but okay.
Are you
With
serious?
Notepad.
Okay, never mind. I shouldn't
I
judge.
yeah. Because they all use phones, right? They don't, but it's okay. I think it's fine.
Right.
They work flawlessly. I still remember the jubilation I felt when I modified the text color and the font on her block. It was fantastic. Yeah. In my eyes, I wasn't doing web design or programming. I was helping my sister as
Right.
an aspiring computer expert.
Yeah.
Um,
In case you're wondering why I
let's-
keep saying computer expert, because I wanted to emphasize
yeah,
how like this was not done with any intention at all. Like I was just like helping
I was.
my friends, my sisters,
Mm.
and yeah, I just enjoyed that.
I still remember the jubilation I felt when I modified the text color, and it was fantastic. In my eyes, I wasn't doing web design programming. I was having my sister an aspiring computer expert. Uh, so I feel like because you keep mentioning computer expert, you need to sort of put at least one sentence to sort of justify. So the feeling that I'm getting from the way you're talking is that you wanted it to be part of your identity, uh,
Yeah.
and or rather, so at this point when you were doing this, were you already the kid that the class turned to when the teacher couldn't figure out why the sound wasn't coming up from PowerPoint?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
So I think you need some glue here, you see,
Yeah.
between this idea that you were that kid already and you're helping your sister perhaps because it was already part of your identity that you were a computer expert. In my eyes, I wasn't doing web design programming. I was helping my sister an aspiring computer expert. And that was how I saw myself. I was that kid the class turned to when I was teacher couldn't figure out why the sound wasn't coming up. What was not coming up? Wasn't coming up from her PowerPoint. From why you should? Man, it's gonna reject this. Why turned to whenever our teacher couldn't figure out why her PowerPoint. Let's just do her, I guess. Her PowerPoint slides had no
Sound.
sound. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
shorter. That's
better,
nicer. Yeah.
less clunky.
Yeah.
And that was how I saw myself. I was that kid the class turned to when our teacher couldn't figure out why her PowerPoint slides had no sound. I lived for the cheers. Um, I lived for. Was it that strong?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Cause we're always trying to
Okay.
put on Detective Conan. Like we learn Chinese by like watching Detective Conan. Everyone just wanted to watch.
Okay. I lived for the cheers. When the same. Uh, for the cheers when the sound came on. Okay, this is good. Um, okay, when I'm not busy fixing people's tech, when I was not tense problems, when I was not busy fixing people, when I was not busy, when I wasn't busy,
Occupied.
wasn't.
It wasn't
I wasn't
busy.
busy fixing
Right.
people's tech problems. I was glued to one single game, to one game on my computers. I
Yeah.
would remove those single because it's
Mm-hmm.
remove unnecessary words, right?
Yep.
When I wasn't busy fixing people's tech problems. People sounds weird. Other people, I guess, sounds better.
Yeah.
When I wasn't busy fixing other people's tech problems, I was good. I was glued. I was glued to one game, completely fixated on one game. Glued to one game on my phone. What do you think? Which I think it's okay. I was
Yeah.
glued to one game. It feels a bit wonky, but
Yeah, glue does sound a
okay.
little. Yeah, I agree with you. I
Yeah,
would change
I
it. I
glued
think
to the
engrossed.
screen.
I was engrossed.
Yeah,
I
so
was
I'll
like
say I was engrossed.
devoted
I
or
was
something. Yeah.
obsessed with one particular game on my computer. One particular, I guess, that
Yeah.
replaces the single. Uh, when
Yeah.
I wasn't busy fixing other people's tech problems, I was obsessed with one particular game on my family's computer. On my family's computer, that game was Maple Story.
God, I miss the game
My
so
family's.
much. It's like,
Yeah,
I
I
saw the
didn't.
screenshots and it like
Yeah.
invoked so much in me. It woke so much in
Maybe it
me.
was. Yeah. Maybe it was stronger for you than it was for me because when I was that age, the crazy thing for me was Pokemon.
Oh.
The yellow, the red, green, yellow, red, blue,
So which one
red,
was
green,
your
yellow
which one was the one
version.
you
It, wa-
chose? What was your
I played yellow.
oh
It was just Pikachu, so like, you can't really choose anything.
right.
Um, it cannot be has. It had everything you'd expect from a role-playing game and more. Avatar customization, microtransactions, and a sophisticated monetary system that
Dude,
allowed you to exchange
it
fiat
was
for
the
in.
OG crypto, man. That was where it
Yeah,
was the same muscle when
yeah.
crypto came out. I was like, man, this
I was actually thinking it's really your generation's or our generation, like Maple Story did overlap with my our Fortnite, right? Like the in-game, this was so early. It's a sophisticated monetary system that allow you to exchange fiat for in-game currency.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't like all that. To
Right.
facilitate all that. What's it? Everything you
Nah,
expect from a
yeah.
playing game and more of the customization, microtransactions, sophisticated monetary system, sophisticated monetary that allow you to change fiat for in-game currency to facilitate all that. Okay, I'll put it back. I
Yeah.
don't like it, but okay.
But how do we refer back? That's the thing.
I know.
Uh,
I know. You're
should I
trying to say refer to everything that you
should
just
we
mentioned,
move
right?
that to the front and then after that say like you exchange fiat for in-game currency for avatar
But you
customizations
know
and
what? You know what?
microtransactions?
Why don't we just get rid of it? Because it's clear to most readers that why do you have in-game currencies to do everything?
That's true.
Everything you expect from a role-playing game. Well, let me just reread just to make sure that it doesn't lose anything. Avatar customization, microtransactions, and a sophisticated monetary system that allow you to exchange fiat for in-game currency. I think that's good. I think that's good. At least in Asia, the game was huge. It was the Fortnite of my childhood. Yeah, I was very addicted, and so were my friends. Where do you get this, Chester? How
This is my
was the
this is
hottest
my
thing?
friend. This because I was while I was writing right, I was like talking all about Maple Story. I was like, man, do you remember when
Oh
like
my god.
I
Okay.
needed like this item this new item on the cash shop, so like I like went to my piggy bank and took like $10 and went to the shop to buy a prepaid card, loaded onto the cash shop and got that pet.
Amazing. You were 12 years old. Then I stumbled upon this video on YouTube, which is miraculously still up. Okay, you're gonna embed that. You have to. I had a brainwave. I could learn how to host my own web server. Get all my friends in school on it. Uh, hmm. Get all my friends in school to join and become the most popular kid. As a nurse, this was huge. I was drawn because I found a way to get real life social leverage. Social leverage. Social leverage. While possessing in-game ones. Okay, no, so this is a bit wonky. Bit
Yeah.
like awkward. I was drawn because I found a way to get real life social currency. I don't like leverage doesn't really make sense here,
Yeah.
does it? Real life I'll get real life social currency. Cachet, no, cachet is too
Cachet.
advanced,
Wow.
posh. Doesn't fit,
Posh.
doesn't fit. Social ugh.
Yeah.
Currency, I guess. Ugh, but
Social currency,
Okay.
social. I don't know.
If
I
we
I
do
just.
currency, we have to be very careful that there's enough space from the currency that you just mentioned here.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah. But anyway, um, I had some upon this video on YouTube, which is where I can still up. You know what? I think you need, even though it is an embed, you do need a one sentence descriptor of what it is.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like.
So the video was basic. Oh shit! I
Yeah.
shouldn't do this.
It
I
was
should
basically
just
a
do
video
it.
of someone introducing his private server.
The video was basically someone introducing. I'm literally just typing what you're saying.
Yeah.
Introducing
It's
his
not a bad
private server.
sentence. Sometimes the
Uh,
best your best words come out when you just like think about the first thing that comes to your head.
yes, that is correct. But you also need somebody to type them for you. You see, um, I I could learn. I could learn. I could learn to host my own private server, get all my friends in school to join, and become the most popular kid. So this was huge. I was drawn because I was drawn. I was attracted to this. I was drawn to this. I was drawn to this because I found a way to get real life social currency. Uh, wow. Also, uh, real life social status. Real life
Yes,
status.
yes, yes.
I
That's
guess.
good. That's good. That's
Yes,
good.
that's
Yeah.
better.
So much better.
While also earning in-game status, right? It's basically status that you're earning in-game, is it?
Is it though? Cuz it's like I guess, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. You're like suddenly you're like the game master cuz you can make yourself the game
Yeah,
master,
but
right?
we can't repeat status so often in the same. I mean, because there's word space, right? Status is just like 5 words
Um
away. So
in
I'd say
game
we have to use something
cred
different. So let me just put in status first and see
or
how it
cred.
feels. I was drawn to this because I found a way to get real life status while also earning in-game something else.
Cred.
Social currency, like
Just cred.
cred. Yes, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Yes, okay. I was drawn to this because I found a way to get real life social status with also earning in-game cred. Nice. I learn to write. No, you shouldn't put how to here, I think. I learned how to write. I learned to write. I prefer I learned to write. I learned to write plugins and customizations, added them to my server, and
Mhm.
exchange that skill with favors and McDonald's from my friends.
Dude,
Oh my
I was so
god.
addicted to McDonald's. I was so
You
fat,
so
for like a better term.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, you wouldn't imagine it. I always tell my friends always ask me like how I managed
Uh,
to run 10K when by the time I was like
yes.
13 or 14, I tell them McDonald's.
Wait, you were fat and you ran 10K?
Yeah, it was incredible. I don't
I'm
know
so
how.
jealous.
I wonder how I did that, but
So jealous.
yeah.
So jealous. I learned to write plugins and customizations, added them to my server, and exchanged that skill. Exchange that skill. And exchange those favors. No, no. Exchange that. I don't like skill, but okay, exchange that skill. Fine. With favors and McDonald's for my friend. I even asked someone to help me ask my crush for a number in exchange for 150 million of in-game currency. This is so cute. Okay, I'm just gonna go with that skill. I feel like it's not really skill, but okay, whatever. Because it's more like you are. Yeah, okay. You're doing plugins and oh, this is really amazing. Like, uh, when I have
Yeah.
kids, I'm gonna let them play games as long as like there's like a code editing function like
Dude, the amount of
out of it.
times I had to like try
Um,
to crack open my family computer because my dad would try to lock
that's
it,
good.
and then I would like go to
Oh
school,
yes,
burn
yes,
burn
that is the
a
way.
disk with the brute force software, and then like just put it in the family computer,
That is the way.
figure out a password, and don't say anything.
Uh, I followed tutorials from the Rage Zone forums. I guess they don't exist anymore, right? To the very last detail. I followed tutorials on the very. Okay, no, you shouldn't put to the very last detail. That's sort of like, I think that's obvious. I followed tutorials on race. Private server.
There's some a viewer just made a suggestion to our
Yeah.
in-game cred sentence, and Kim Stack
Yes. What
says,
was it?
"Why not? Let's try. I was drawn to this because I discovered a twofer. I gained real life status while earning in-game cred." I'm gonna paste that in the chat for
I
you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I
I
don't
mean, I was
know.
drawn to wait. Just put it in, and then we'll see how that feels.
Yeah.
I'd brainwave if I could learn to host my own private server, get all my friends in school to join, and become the most popular kid. As a nerd, this was huge. I was drawn to this because I had found a twofer. Um, yeah, okay, that
I'm
I
gonna
think that's it.
I'm gonna highlight
I think
that,
that's it. Yeah,
and then I'm just gonna paste a
yeah.
comment in.
Okay, good. You just
Yeah,
paste it in.
and then we'll
I feel
revisit.
like both sentences are equally good. So it doesn't really matter which one you want. It's a aesthetic choice.
Yeah,
Both are okay. Like there are no clarity problems with either sentence. So it's up to you, Jervis.
sure.
Okay. I followed tutorials. So I know what you're doing here. Sorry, I let you just paste it in first, and then
Yeah, I did.
who was that? Thank you. I think
Kim Stacks. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Kim Stacks.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
actually
Oh, okay.
surprised people
Hi,
actually
Kim.
watch this.
Kim's yeah.
Oh,
Brilliant. So here's the I don't you see by this point like in the timeline you already had set up the server, and here the point of this paragraph is you're trying to explain, right, like the exact things that you had
yeah,
to learn to
yeah.
set up.
Uh-huh.
um I followed tutorials from the Rage Zone forums to set up my private server. A bit simple. Registration pages, hosted it off an Apache web server with XAMPP. XAMPP with two P's, really? What's the other P? PHP and
Oh God.
PHP MyAdmin. Never mind. It's okay. This is just me
Technicalities.
being, about it. Learn how to create MySQL databases with Navicat. Holy shit, Navicat.
Pearl.
Hamachi
The
to tunnel
second
public
P is Pearl.
connections. Oh, Perl.
Yeah.
Perl and PHP.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
PHP and Perl programming
That is a
languages.
different time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. Okay. I followed tutorials from Rizzo. I followed tutorials from the Raid Zone server to set up my private server forums for tutorials. I built simple registration pages, hosted it off an Apache server with XAMPP, then to create basket. I think it's okay. I mean, like, yeah, even though the timeline at this point you already have the private server, you're sort of elaborating.
I didn't want to have like technical stuff interrupt. Like my purpose of putting it
Yeah.
afterwards,
The
I didn't want
narrative.
to
That
interrupt
makes
the
sense.
inner narrative. Yeah.
Yeah, I followed tutorials from the regional forums to set up. Uh, to set up.
Never cat, dude.
I think. Okay, so I'm just gonna try this first, and then I'll explain like why I think it might be better. But let me just see if it works. To set up my private server, I followed tutorials from the Rage Zone forums. I had to follow tutorials from the Rage Zone forums. So the reason I haven't deleted, I just cut. The reason why is because the emphasis of this sentence, I mean the way that I changed it is is you're sort of you're trying to communicate this idea that like you had to follow tutorials and this was what you learn, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to the previous one, like the initial sentence let me believe that you would talk about like the process of setting it up, but actually what you're trying to do is you're trying to say that what do you learn and how do you learn some of them,
Yeah.
as a to give a reader the taste. So that was the point of this paragraph, and so I just rewrote this because I think it feels, let's see, from the previous paragraph was I was 12, I learned to write plugin customization and then on the server exchange that with for skills for favors, and you know what, I'm just going to get rid of that skill for exchange that for favors and McDonald's for my friends. I even asked someone to help me ask my crush for her number in exchange for 150 million of in-game money. I was 12. This is like benefits of having the server, and then now you're talking about what you learn,
Right.
and how you learn it. To set up my private server, I had to follow tutorials. Yeah, okay, I think this is better. I built simple registration pages, hosted it off an Apache web server with XAMPP, learn how to create MySQL databases with Navicat, ran Hamachi to tunnel. Okay, yeah, okay. Like helping my sister with her blog, not my blog. This did not feel like programming to me. I just wanted to create a remix of my favorite virtual environment so my friends and I could get to let out and make it. Right. So the point of this paragraph is you wanted to express how this did not feel like programming.
Yeah. I just wanted to borrow the same structure from the blogger paragraph. That's like, here's what I did, here's why I did it,
Yes.
and it still was not programming to me. You know.
let me just take a quick look at this. Yeah, so okay, so this was more identity bound. This is you trying to tie it back. I don't like this paragraph.
Yeah, neither do I actually reading it
I know
back right
what
now.
I know what you're trying to communicate, but it's not as clear. Let's see if we can make it clearer. Um, this still did not feel like programming to me. Uh, uh, I just wanted to create. I just wanted to recreate my own create an instance of my favorite virtual environment so that my friends and I uh create an instance of my favorite virtual environment that I could call my own,
Mm-hmm.
a place where my friends and I could let our
Oh,
imaginations
so much
run
better.
wild. This
Yeah.
didn't. This did. Just wanted to create an instance. I just wanted an instance of my. I just wanted an instance of my favorite virtual environment.
Is there a better word for
Environment.
instance?
One
Because I feel like
equal.
that's a technical term too. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
Yeah.
The problem is that my brain is so corrupted by programmer speak that it just makes sense to
I
me.
just want to.
um,
Uh,
you know, programming to me. I just wanted an instance of my favorite virtual environment, my favorite virtual world. I
yes.
guess. This one. I mean, that's
And
less
this is much clearer.
programmy.
Like instant. Then the word instance makes
Yeah.
sense.
I just one that
Version.
I could
Yeah.
call my own, a place where my friends and I could let our imaginations run. So I don't know why it's clearer. It's just clearer. This is one of those Tacit things. Okay, I'm just gonna delete this, I guess. Is that okay?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Kim Sachs
Okay.
just said the paragraph about setting an example. I think it sounds like you were learning some important skills. Do research and follow
Yeah.
instructions that are not properly laid out in nicely packaged lesson plans in school. I just wanted to say this is basically tacit. It's tacit learning in action. I just watched YouTube. I just watched like
It's
10
so
YouTube
true.
videos until I kind of like
That is
overlaid
so
the
true.
things that worked and then like tried it like multiple times over and over again until
This
it
is when
worked.
you were how many years? This is like a decade ago. My goodness.
It was a decade
So you
ago.
were like doing yeah.
Holy shit.
This was how I learned Photoshop when I was 15. So same era. I think it was like 2005 for me. Anyway, it scratched the itch that will someday. So this one is a bit weird.
I think you
Because
drop it.
this yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should drop it because it has no relation to
Yeah,
the
it's no
current.
relation.
Although I know what you're trying to say, and I feel like this should be a footnote if you want to include this.
True. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
let's just
gonna
comment,
so
leave a comment on it or something.
if you want to footnote this, you say something like looking back, I see now that my private server was scratching an itch that today would be fulfilled by Minecraft, which also has private servers, but you can like sort of you should just worry about this in a footnote. So I don't really have to care about this right now. Okay. I did not will not. I did not become. I did not. So shit. I did not become a programmer for a
See,
while.
I'm very careful not to call myself a software engineer because a lot of people get very riled up when you like learn how to program but don't
Really?
actually know how to architect. They're like,
It should.
that is not software engineering. That is just programming. You are a programmer, not a software engineer. So I'm like, okay, okay.
They should get over themselves. But okay, but I mean, fair point. I have a friend who I know a friend. He's French, and so maybe his Frenchness also makes him pedantic. No, I'm kidding. It's a very bad joke. Yeah, he over wine and dinner, he was like telling me, no, this is not the way. It should be in like a very French way. And I was like, okay, good point. He was a lecturer, so
Okay.
he should know a thing or two. uh, I did not become a programmer for a while. I continued making stuff, but none of them. Okay, something wrong with this sentence. I did not become a proper programmer
Proper.
for
I love how it's like
a
proper and
few more
improper
years.
programmers.
So I'm gonna get rid of a wow. I did not become a programmer for a few more years. I did not consider myself a programmer for a few more years.
Oh
No.
yes, yes. Yeah, I think that's great because I like again. I was still like messing about with
Yeah, okay.
computers, right?
I did not consider myself a programmer for a few more years.
Yeah.
I would remove the italics, I think. You think so? Or should I?
I wanted to
Does
emphasize
it
it as
come?
like a term that has been like
Okay,
littered
okay, that's
throughout
fine.
the
A
piece.
label.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I continued making stuff, none of which was serious. I think it's clearer. I continued making stuff, none of which were. I also don't like this sentence because it's like, what is serious? What is, excuse me, what does serious mean, right? So I continued making stuff.
None of them actually
None of.
materialized to anything. None of them actually materialized to materialized.
I continued making stuff, none of which were serious projects, I guess. Would that
Yeah.
work? Serious projects. I continued making stuff, none of which was no, led too much.
Yeah. I guess when I wrote this, I kind of wanted to convey a sort of the sort of emotion of playfulness, like like
Mm,
how
mm,
like there wasn't someone who like set a deadline for me. Like there wasn't. I
okay.
did not know. I didn't even know you could like publish stuff. I just kind of like played. None of it serious. Okay.
Is that better? Does that express what you truly
It's
wanted to
all for
express?
fun. None of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Convincing.
continued making stuff, but it was all for fun, none of it serious. See, I never really knew the I never really so you shouldn't repeat really and real because word space, right? I never really understood the
Understood. Yeah.
potential understood the potential of my skill until much later. I continued messing around. I continued messing I
Around.
say messing with code, no see. I continued messing with code, creating Pang scripts that made thousands of encapsulated folders. I okay, so this is totally an aesthetic thing. I don't like the word encapsulated. But this is my bias. I would say I made thousands of nested folders.
Yeah, that's actually much better. So yeah, one of the things I've learned over the last two sessions for the benefit of everyone is to reduce the number of words that have more than three or more syllables.
Or rather, you want to ask yourself, is this truly necessary? Is there like a word with less than three syllables? Because even though it's supposed to not be as complex on the page, when you read it out loud, right, it sounds a bit more complex than otherwise. The converse of that, though, is that if you have a horrible idea that you haven't fully thought through, one way to obfuscate it is to use lots of big words. Which
That's true.
you can totally tell when a writer is trying to do that if you know that trick works.
Yeah.
I continued messing with code, creating prank accounts, and made thousands of nested folders on my friends' computers. Friends. Okay, so okay lah, friends lah. Normally, I follow the strong and white rule, which is like if there's a S, you just put a just S, two S. But okay, what? I think it's okay. Friends Computer started a YouTube channel and just had a lot of fun making videos, photos, and things. I never really built or shipped any real apps, um, but there was beauty in my play, in my play. I don't know. Let's see. Does it feel right? Yeah, I think that is better. Mine is a bit. There was beauty in that play. The skills I learned teaming my sister's blog and running my private server became useful um, when I eventually got around to learning how to program formally.
Yeah.
You didn't really sit down one time.
That's true.
When I eventually got around to learning to program formally. don't like the learning how to, because you can just do learning to program formally.
Right.
Skills I had learned teaming my sister's blogs, running my private server became useful when I eventually got around to learning to program. There's also too many tools here.
Mm.
When I eventually learn
Learn
programming
programming
formally, I
formally.
think.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Yeah.
skills I learned teaming my sister's blog and running my private server became
Became
useful
useful
when
when
I
I
eventually
learn
got around to. Well, I guess you could do got around to
programming
programming
formally.
proper.
Proper programming. I
Proper?
love it. Programming
No,
proper.
programming proper is just it's a
Yeah.
British, so
Yeah, I'm
more
fine with that.
English.
I'm fine with that. Like that would be how I would
It's
usually
an aesthetic
speak.
choice.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Let
I'm
me
fine with
try
it.
to do what you would normally.
No, 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 but this is what
Actually,
I'll
you know what?
normally
It's okay
say.
because the point.
It is what I'll normally
Yeah,
say. I have just been indoctrinated, like I said multiple times. Because whenever I
it's fine.
say
So
something,
this is this.
yeah, go
Yeah.
go.
No, this is just for those who are watching. This is just the context of like how we're doing our session. The goal is to learn the editing skill, and sometimes I do override Jervis's aesthetic preferences. If I was actually editing, not for the sake of teaching, but for editing, I would never try to override his voice. But I'm just doing this here because the goal is to see my process, right? Not really
Yeah,
to not really for me to preserve his voice. When I was younger, you can't just say younger. When I was
yeah.
younger, I was unafraid of copying. When I was younger, when I was young, no, you're still young. So when I was a kid, no. When I was
When I
younger, I
was
think it's
younger,
okay.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Depends on who you ask.
I was, I was unafraid of copying. I was eager to absorb. I was eager to absorb, influence, and adopt.
Yeah,
Influence is you influencing somebody else, right? So this should be, I was eager to absorb, be influenced, absorb.
I
No,
would no. I was trying to express like how I added my own flavors into things like I found online. Like I meant I
eager
meant
to
influence
absorb.
in that way. Yeah, not influence
Oh,
me.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
I was eager to absorb, be influenced by. I don't. That adds too many words. What's a good word for this? I was eager to absorb, to be molded by, to be influenced by, to absorb, to let's try to be influenced by, and to adopt anything that interested me for my purposes. I did not care for. I did not care much for anything else. Don't like this whole sentence. No, actually, I don't like this whole paragraph because I know what you're trying to say, but it's not being said very well. You're trying to say that when you were younger, totally you didn't think so much of yourself. You were just playing, you were copying, you were okay, whatever influence, whatever lah. Like you don't think about it that much.
Yeah.
There was no metacognition, right?
Yeah.
Uh, it was just you played and you absorb, and then eventually, now you're looking back, you can see that it's made a huge difference to your life. But this paragraph is not doing justice to that idea. Um,
Yeah.
and then you sort of back it up with, "I just wanted to make my sister and my friends happy." So how do we rewrite this to capture that? Um, let's see. When I was younger, I was unafraid of what exactly. Unafraid of copying doesn't sound right here. What were you trying to express with this? It's not like, are you afraid of copying now?
No, it's just I guess I just wanted to express how how right now everyone's just trying to like make the most original thing, right? Like and everyone sort of gets
That's
to a
true.
stage
Huh.
where they're like
Interesting.
how do I make my writing original? How do I like build something that has already been built, but I'm just gonna build it
Right.
anyway. So I was just trying to express like how back then I just never really thought much about being original. I just focused on like what I wanted to do, like what I needed to do, and that was making my sister and my friends
I
happy.
okay. You see, what you just said was a lot simpler. Back then, I wasn't focused on. I'm not. at writing, I'm just capturing your thoughts, raw
Yeah.
thoughts before I change it to like more polished prose. But that wasn't focused on being original. I just copied uh I just copied and did whatever I just wanted to make my sister and my friends happy. Okay, that is the raw idea that you just expressed to me
Yeah.
in voice. But then, so we need to turn this into proper prose. Let's see. Uh, when I was younger, I totally wasn't focused on being original. I just copied whatever worked. I was perfectly willing to be a sponge. I don't know. Let's just try
Yes, script
to be a
kiddie.
sponge. I
Oh,
was perfectly willing to be a sponge. I absorbed. Uh, I was willing. I was feeling willing to be a sponge. I absorbed everything and adopted anything that interested me or that I found useful for my purposes. I thought only of making my sister and my friends happy. Okay, let's reread this. Is it good or bad? Back when I was younger, I totally wasn't focused on being original. I just copied whatever worked. I was perfectly willing to be a sponge. I absorbed everything. I adopted anything that, and I adopted.
so you know,
I absorbed everything. I adopted anything that interested me or that I found useful.
mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Did I capture everything that you wanted to express? Back when I
Yeah,
was younger, I totally wasn't focused on the original. I just copied.
I was just thinking of a way, if there was a way around like everything and then anything, you know,
That's true.
or we could make
Hold on,
it
let me just reread this.
stylistic.
I absorb. I mean, I could drop that. I only included that because I was trying to copy the structure of this, right? Of the. I was eager to absorb, to be influenced by, to adopt anything. Um,
Also, probably
I
a
was, but
sponge.
I feel like it makes it more.
Yeah,
I feel like adding that clause makes it more visceral. Like you really didn't care. You just, you didn't know any better. You just did whatever.
yeah.
Totally wasn't focused on being original. I just copied whatever worked. I was perfectly willing to be a sponge. I think this one needs to change. You can do this. I absorbed everything. I adopted anything that interested me. Uh, I was easily influenced. I absorbed everything I read. Everything I read. Everything I read. I adopted anything that interested me or that I found useful for my purposes. Uh, anything that interested me. Uh, or use whatever I found. And took whatever I found useful for my purposes. Is this
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. This is
What do you have problems with this?
yeah,
I know
yeah.
I'm sort of overriding
No, no, no,
your voice here
no. This is
because
great.
you
Like
totally
I
wasn't
felt like
focused
the
on.
ending was kind of weak too. Reading this over today. Yeah,
The only problem now is that because you've sort of set this up right,
right.
you have to juxtapose this with your current state, which is that you are to make it stronger, you want to sort of say, back then I had no care, it was just playful, I was learning a lot. Now there's a bit more me in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. No, now it's just you
um
add all the stuff. You add like the stuff of like, okay, like what skills do I need to get like the internship I want? Like what do I want to be after I like what do I want to do? What do I want my job to be, And it's I don't know, like it just doesn't feel as fun anymore. I know I'm just thinking a lot right
yeah.
now. So it's like, when
Yes. No, no, just do it. I'm capturing.
yeah, when you go out in the world, right, and you're like, okay, I need to find a job. It's like, okay, do you want to be an iOS
Yeah.
engineer? Do you want to be a front end engineer? Do you want to be a back end engineer? Do you want to be
Right.
SRE? The problem
Mm.
with I guess the problem with how I learned is that I never really thought in those terms, but now I need to like shelve myself in. But I just like cannot. But I know I need to because the only way you
Yes.
get a lot of skill is when you like dedicate yourself to a craft and like get depth.
Yes. Yes.
So right now I'm facing that confliction, and I don't know
Interesting.
how to keep doing that play while still achieving the depth I need. Does that make sense?
That I think is
Okay.
the I don't know how to achieve that play while still, what do you call it, achieving um
My
what
career
was the
goals.
term that you use?
What term?
Achieving my career goals. I think that is what you want to end this piece on, because unfortunately I only have more questions. It's not very good, right, as an
Yeah,
ending.
that's true.
Um so by the way, like one trick you can do if you have trouble writing is you pretend that you're explaining stuff to a friend, right?
Mm,
And when you explain stuff to a friend like you just did to me, like your words are just really clear. There's no wasted words. I mean, sure, you repeat yourself a bit, but like usually you can get the core of the idea out. It's just when you sit down and you write, you think you have to be formal. That's when all the problems come, right?
mm,
So often what I do is I pretend I'm writing an email when I'm explaining to a friend, and I in my writing app I have this comment feature, right, where it's basically not included in the final thing when I export, and then I'll just write as if like as if I'm explaining to a friend. So
right.
you can replicate what you just did uh, by yourself, even when you're sitting down to write. So let's see. Now you add all the stuff. Okay, so what we're trying to achieve here is we're trying to achieve some juxtaposition. I can get rid of this sentence because that's already included.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and let me just quickly read this last piece
We
here
can
to
even
see
delete the
if
rest of
there's
that.
any other.
Yeah, it feels like I
Hold
was
on.
really just expressing whatever I just said in
Mm.
like a way that was not very concrete.
Well, it's not the concrete. It's more like it's not. I can feel like it's not the point you want to drive home, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can tell from the direction of the piece that you're going towards, like, I used to be so thoughtless and playful, and now, and you're missing that piece on the now. You feel differently. Otherwise, why would you write the piece, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have done that. I wonder what something like that would look like as an adult. I used to think growing up meant having more of my questions answered. I thought the reasons for my actions would become more evident. Unfortunately, I only have more questions. Okay, I think you're right. I think I can delete everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete everything. Okay, so let's turn these raw thoughts to a bit more polished prose. Back when I was younger, I totally wasn't focused on being original. I just copied whatever worked. I was perfectly willing to be a sponge. I absorbed everything I read. I adopted anything that interested me. I took whatever I found useful and put it anyway. Uh, Today, however, I think about a lot more when I'm programming. I think about what skills I need to learn for my internships, about what kind of programmer I want to be, uh, and what kinds and what sort of programmer I want to be, what kind of careers I want to have after I graduate. I'm just gonna totally gonna use my voice here.
Yeah, that's good.
Looking back, uh I wonder if there's a way to capture my playfulness um while at the same time there's a way to capture the lost playfulness of my youth while at the same time while at the same time keeping the perspective of my older self. I don't know. I'm just gonna let's see.
Yeah.
Not pleased with this, but let's
I
take a
was
look.
wondering if we
On
could
today,
like
however,
bring in the
yeah.
fact that it's kind of like, like there like, all these things I want to build, but at the
Hmm.
end of the day, I know like I need depth to be effective, and it's like I only have X amount of hours in a
Oh,
day, and it's like, how do I do this? You know what I mean? Like the idea of being playful and getting
yeah.
depth just doesn't feel. I know they can be. I know they can work together, but like, how do
Hmm.
I go from like thinking of like helping my sister, helping like my friends, or like doing random stuff to like sitting myself down and go like, okay, I need depth. I need like a job that like helps me build depth.
Huh.
You know?
I don't think you can bring in the idea of that without an extra section. At least like 2, 3 paragraphs. Um.
Okay. Yeah, that could be a
Yeah. So
entirely
so
separate piece. So I might be coming up with like an entirely separate piece
no
over
no no
there.
no. What you can no no you can introduce it, but you have to introduce it slightly higher.
Right.
So one rule that I keep is you don't want to introduce a crazy big idea in the and at the end of your piece, at least not willingly. Sometimes if you're fed up, right, you have a deadline, you have no choice. I violated this rule a few times, and I always don't feel very good about it. You don't want to surprise the reader with like surprise, a new idea at the bottom like fifth of
Right.
the piece or the bottom quarter of the piece. You always want to have like all the ideas at play before I'd say 4/5. Uh, so that the fifth is literally just tying up so that like the reader can sort of
Right.
especially if you're reading a blog. I think this is not true. This is definitely not true for news articles. They have a different rule to follow there. But if you're communicating an idea, you want to sort of summarize at the end so the reader has some breathing space to sort of tie everything together.
Right.
Uh, so if you do want to introduce this idea of depth versus play, you have to introduce a couple of paragraphs. I guess
Actually, right
okay,
in
probably
front,
not
I
here, but
think. Yeah.
you should try when you before you publish you should try squeezing it in and see if it works, and you can sort of like send it to me on chat, and then I'll take a
Sure.
look at
Yeah.
it when I have time.
Okay.
uh but right now, so I'm just gonna put a comment here and say that no, I'm not gonna put this like this. I don't know, how do I do it, like this? uh Possibly bring in idea of depth in adulthood, because it's true. I mean, I can see why you're thinking about that. All right. Today, however, I think a lot more. I think about a lot more when I'm programming. I think about what skills I need to learn for my internships. About what kind of programmer, what sort of programmer I want to be, what kind of careers, what kind of a career I want to have after I graduate. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. It's not nice enough as an ending. Uh, Today, however, I think a lot more. There are a couple of ways we can end this. We could end it in a way that's like completely wistful. So I look back to the lost playfulness of my youth with some longing. But I also know that it's not possible to be that kid again. Something like
Yeah. It
that.
sounds so
You
depressing,
can
dude.
you can also very depressing. That's one way you can close it. The other way, like I wonder if there's a way to capture the lost playfulness of my youth. I wonder if there's a way to balance between the playfulness of my youth and the. I wonder if there's a way to balance between the playfulness of my youth, uh, while at balance between balance the playfulness of my youth against the practical cares of adulthood. That's another way. you can go. I think a lot more when I'm programming. I think about what skills I need to learn from my internships. But I wanted, I wanted this way to balance. I look back, to my childhood with longing. I wonder if there's a way to balance, the playfulness of my youth against the practical chaos. I continue to wonder if there's a way, if it's possible to balance the playfulness of my youth against the practical cares of adulthood. Uh, uh, hmm. Yeah, so I'm just throwing this out here because I'm not sure how you want to bring this airplane in. What are your thoughts?
Um,
And then you need
yeah,
some sort of other sentence here.
I think I think ultimately I guess to go back to the original text, right? Like
Yeah.
I think you did perfectly capture the essence around balancing, wanting the longing to be playful, as well as like how to be effective in my career. I really
Okay, I
don't
think
think
this is
that's
too
much to
depressing.
add.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
remove this.
yeah. This is pretty depressing, but this is what we all think deep down. This is what we all think deep down. No, but no one wants to say it.
But you don't want to make this the ending, I assume, because from what you're telling me, it doesn't sound like you want to have this sort of take, right? Be the ending.
No, I'm like okay. 'Cause I guess what I'm grappling with right now is I'm
Hmm.
perfectly okay ending with a question. I feel like this is
Okay.
ending with a question, right? This is not me giving you an answer. This is me saying like what I'm sure. This
Yes.
is
No, I
what.
think that's fine.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a piece that aims to question more than
Huh.
answer.
In
So
in that case, would it make sense if I take this ending, the second one I've proposed, and then I add a question to end this? I continue. I wonder if it's possible to balance the playfulness of my youth against the practical cares of adulthood. I'll let you know if I find out. Such a cop out, but I mean it's fine. Or
yeah, it's the J.K.
um
Lowell of endings.
it's the what?
Is the J.K. LOL of endings.
No. That is it was just a social experiment. Um or I woke up and it was just a dream.
It's just a
I look
dream.
back to my childhood with longing. I wonder if it's possible to balance the playfulness of my youth against the practical cares of adulthood.
Yeah.
I continue to um I continue to chase that balance. I continue to chase that balance. Uh,
Yeah, I think
I
at the end of the
continue to
day,
chase.
I just wanted to. I know I have a reformulation of
Yeah,
this in my head. Like at the end of
go
the
go
day,
go
I
go.
just wanted to contrast how like typically speaking in an education setting you have like right answers, but I definitely learned programming without the right answers, right? But right now I've arrived to a point where
All right,
when you go into the industry there is a right answer, like kind of right,
interesting.
and but that has run very counter to the way I started, and I don't know whether or not to fully lean in because I feel like to be good at the practical stuff, you need to fully lean in into like being like
Okay,
into like
okay.
that.
In that
Yeah,
case, if that's what you really want to say, and this is sometimes what happens when you are writing it clarifies your thoughts, right?
right,
You have to have a whole second, uh, you have the whole section, like an equivalently long section, with one of these sections
right.
here. And so we're not going to finish editing today. So
Yeah.
I mean, this will be like your homework. You go back and you add this, and you basically say what you just told me, right? So this whole section will be add section, and the idea that you want to express here is that in the past, when you played, there was no right answer. Now, right answer is the wrong way to express this. I know what you're trying to say, but you need to have a better sort of
Right. Right.
way to articulate this. I
Yeah.
think a better way might be there was no goal. Now there are goals, and therefore, full playfulness is no longer possible. And then the ending will be something like, "You are, you I am still looking for a balance.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but I'll keep trying."
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's more in line with what you just told me.
Yeah, I feel like you could
Is that
also
okay?
bring. Yeah, yeah. I think that's perfect too, and I also think that we can bring in the possibility, the depth of adulthood to that section. I'm just thinking whether or not it
Yes,
should.
you yes.
This ad section should go on top, or should it like be where, be right where you
I feel
place it.
I possibly bring in one paragraph about what's the point about depth of adulthood again?
So it's
Like, what are you trying to express?
it's basically just whatever that's on here, just reframed like how like to be effective in your career you need depth, like you need to like you need to actually
Oh, I
spend
see.
time working in that
About
thing, then like
uh
just going all over the place going like, oh, how do I do this, I'm willing to try anything.
that okay. That runs counter to the free form exploration you did as a kid. Okay. All right. So yes, that definitely belongs there. You need to express those ideas, and then the ending will be, "I'm still looking for balance. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll keep trying." I think you can delete all of this. I'll just leave it
Yeah.
here. Um,
Yep.
okay, so that's, I think, the ending. We ran about like 30 minutes over time.
Yep.
Uh, what have we learned today? We've learned, I think, I don't know. What did we learn?
Maple
It's
Story
hard
is
for me
awesome.
to articulate.
Do you
What?
feel moved in the end of the day? I don't know if you feel moved by by reading this. I think
Oh,
that
interesting.
what I'm trying to get to is how like I think every programmer at some point who has
Yeah.
learned this way has a visceral longing
Yes.
for this type of exploration.
Okay.
We have more TKs, right?
It's
Yeah.
difficult for me. It's difficult for me to answer because I'm so close to the text. I will need to like sort of, what I like to do is I open it on an iPad. So you, when you change mediums, then it's easier to sort of see, and then I read through everything from
Right.
top to bottom to see how it makes me feel. I can't tell you how it makes me feel right now. Uh I need to take a step back from the text, either print it out or like not print it out, like obviously, like we don't do that anymore. But I used to as a kid. Um uh or I will load it on the iPad and then I'll read it while sitting down in a different place
Right.
from the computer table. And that's how I do it. I recommend you to do the same as well. I did have lots of feelings of nostalgia because like you, I went through the same period with blogging, except that I was 15 at the time, or 16 or 17, I can't remember.
Right.
15, I think. Um, no, I think our age difference is a lot bigger, right? So okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's not get into the details.
yeah. I also, sorry, I also remember Maple Story. So there were a lot of the feelings that I was feeling was sort of somewhat related, because, but I don't think it was as big.
Right.
Maple Story was a lot bigger for you and your friends than it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the feelings that you have around it are a lot stronger, and I managed to, like, you managed to successfully communicate that to me. So I think that's pretty good. I'm also very impressed by the whole, like, the stuff that you learn while doing Maple Story.
Yeah,
Um,
I actually did play around with this idea, but I didn't know where to put it in the piece. But
what?
I want to re-emphasize about how right now I'm listing all these things off about exam, like
Yeah,
Nevercan, all
yeah.
that. I wouldn't be able to explain to you then. I wouldn't be able to explain to you what they did then. Now I can. after like
Right.
years of tying everything
Right.
back together. But I eventually I can
No,
add
I
it
don't.
like
It's not relevant
I
to
can
the
add it
point
to
that
the
you're trying to
set.
make.
Could I add it to the section? No, probably not. I was thinking of like perhaps
No,
putting
no,
it in
I
a new
don't think.
section. Okay.
I don't think it's. No, it's not. It's not. You could add it, but then like don't be afraid to cut if it doesn't work. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just add it and see how it feels.
Right. I feel like our
Yeah.
part two
Okay, so I
next week
think.
is gonna be this
Yeah.
again.
What?
I think we can have a shorter session next week, and it's just like bringing this new section and ending to a close.
No, no, no. I
A new one.
disagree. I
Okay.
disagree. I think you should
Okay.
try something new. Like we only have 4 sessions together, so you
All
should try
right.
to
All right.
bring in something. Like the problems with this piece, you can tell, are slightly different from the problems from last week's piece,
Yeah.
and also different from the problems of the first week's piece. So I think it'll be better if you brought in a new thing.
Okay.
What did we cover? We covered like I think passive sentences. I didn't like that
Mm-hmm.
viscerally. I didn't know why. I just knew that I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we cover? We covered word space. Like I still don't really like this. They look like algebra. A lot of it is by feel. A lot of it is I try writing the thing. I see how it feels like. If I don't like it, I edit. I
Right.
think that's it. There are probably a gajillion other tiny things that people will pick up when they're watching. But yeah, this is a better piece. I think like the starting point was a lot better than last week's because last week's had a bit more run-on sentences. There
Right.
are nearly no run-on sentences this week, which is amazing. Like, congratulations, you've improved.
Thanks. Yeah. I think the secret weapon here is running. Seriously though, like
Okay.
I sat down after lunch, and here's the thing, right? Like I knew I needed to write a piece before tomorrow, cause I didn't want to show up with nothing, okay? And so it's
Uh-huh.
very different sitting on the toilet and like wanting to poop, and like having someone stare at you and say poop, right? And that was me yesterday.
This is recorded, right?
Yeah, it's recorded, but this is a little graphic, but it communicates my point. It's like when you sit down and you tell yourself, I need to write, nothing comes out, you
It's
know?
a terrible analogy.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So
No, no, no. Okay, I get
you
your
know what I
point.
mean.
Noted. All right.
It's like nothing comes out, right? But if you just like went out for a run, I just ran out for a run, right? I just didn't think about anything else. I just went out for a run, came back. I was
Mm,
like, all right. So what was I thinking about for the last 3 hours, and how do I like just put it together? And I just went. It was incredible.
I should try that sometime, but I don't think it works. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. Don't think about why it's hard or easy. It's just sometimes that's the way it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I've
is
not
what I
had an
should learn
easy
in
piece
life.
for a while.
Really? Okay. It makes me feel better, like, cause
Yeah,
every time I write something new, I'm like, oh man,
yeah,
this is so bad, this is so bad. I don't want to deal with
yeah,
this.
yeah. It's the resistance. Yeah. The last piece that I wrote that was really really easy that just came out of my fingers like nothing was the piece about what was it called?
The four theories of truth.
Strong opinions
Oh
weakly
no.
held. That
Oh
was really easy to write. I literally just sat down. It was like nothing. It all came out like very little edits. It was perfect. Every piece since then has been painful, like pulling teeth out with like,
yeah.
yeah, just pulling teeth. Um,
So have they
all
been
right,
more
so
successful?
I
Have your more
yeah.
natural
So,
pieces
so
been
you
more
go.
successful? Or
No, when I look back, no, there's no correlation whatsoever. Some of the
okay.
pieces that I'm most proud of, that I think the ideas are the most interesting or novel or valuable that really took me work to come to, right? They took hours. Like some of them are really really hard.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that's it.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised we got 21
Okay.
people tune in over the course of the last hour, which
Oh
is
wow.
incredible to
Cool.
me. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. It's very boring watching someone edit.
I know, right? I feel like this is something like you kind of like put in the background and kind of like let forget. So,
Yes. Yes. Or
okay.
speed up. All right.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna go
All right. Have a good night. I
have a
am
good
going
rest.
to.
Yeah.
I just realized my
You have a good
entire
day.
iPad screen froze up, so I wasn't getting any of the chat updates
Mm,
for like a full, however long that was. This is not
it's
great.
okay. It's
All
all right.
right.
It's all right. We'll be better next week.
Yep.
Next week will be the last session together, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what to do this to somebody else because
Right, right. I was thinking this could totally
we'll
be a
see.
series that you just get random people to like edit my stuff and see like how they do it.
That's
You know?
interesting. Yeah, I'll need to think about that because it's quite a bit of it's quite an investment, time investment, right? Okay, we'll see.
Alright. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Good night.
Okay. Bye, Jurvis.
Bye.
Good night. Good morning for you, but good night for me. Bye.
Bye. Yes.